I'm Shawn Colpitts here. This is SMMACK Talk, brought to you by SMMACK Combat, OnlyChamps.com, and FightBook MMA. So today we're sitting here with Jacob Cohn, amateur boxing record of 3-0, amateur MMA record of 0-2, fighting out of Chosen Few Fighting Championships, living in Reedsburg, Wisconsin. So Jacob, thank you for joining us. Very happy to have you on the show. 3-0 as a junior boxer, that's a really stellar record, great career starter. What drew you to make the transition to mixed martial arts?
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, sit down with you. Basically, the transition from boxing to MMA wasn't all that tough. Boxing kind of, to me, boxing just really, I didn't really get a kick out of it. And MMA is the fastest growing sport in the world for a reason. You know, there's so much more excitement. And I mean, I guess I was just good at boxing. I didn't really enjoy it like I do MMA and watching it. That just happened to be something I'm good at. So basically the transition wasn't all that tough. It wasn't a hard decision until I got into the cage and found out, you know, what I need to do and what I need to work on. And you know, now that I see the difference between the two, I have a different outlook on both the sports, and I won't take anything for granted this time around.
A lot of people wonder why people do it, why people fight, you know, why put yourself through that. You're still early in your career, so your answer's not going to be as rehearsed as a professional fighter who's had dozens of fights under their belt. Why do you do it? What is your drive?
Basically, when the whole thing that got me into boxing and fighting even was, it started out in high school, man, and I had to go through so much animosity and so much, I guess, bullying and you know, dirty comments put me down. And I can't sit here and say that I was perfect. You know, I did some things to people that I wish I could take back. Sometimes, you know, bullying, you know, the people that get bullied turn into the bully, and you know, it's not right. And that, you know, boxing and fighting was my way to release all what I was feeling. And I know when I was still in high school, there was a kid that, I'm not going to say his name, he knows who he is, that really pushed the limits. And I had enough, and you know, I did what I had to do, and people kind of looked at me in a different sense after everything went down. They looked at me as, you know, wow. And somebody said, dude, you should try MMA or boxing. And I got into boxing, started out as 3-0, and I moved to MMA, and I'm 0-2. So, you know, no excuses. I'm not one to make excuses, but I mean, it just motivates me now, all the people who still try to pick on me and, you know, take me to places that I don't want to be, and it just motivates me, you know. So that's, you know, that's what gets me into the combat sports.
And with fighting boxing before making the transition to MMA, you already had some experience in the ring fighting. That first fight in MMA, did you find it was quite a different feeling, or was it something familiar, something basically you'd experienced through your boxing career?
You know, really, the two sports are so much different. Any person can really point that out. but the fan base and the crowd and I mean, just overall everything is just so much it's so much different. It's so much more electric, and there's so many more people who come there to see fights. I mean, it's boxing. You're there you're socializing and you know, you see an occasional knockout or a ref stoppage and some bloody faces, but you know, MMA, people are standing there cheering and on their feet and you know, I guess I can't say that with a Pacquiao or you know, Mayweather fight, but you know, just an overall sense, man, MMA is just so much more exciting. There's so much more to see, you know.
Yeah, with the more higher energy fans,
right?
And whatnot, it's got to really get the blood flowing and pumping. In your first fight, you could succumb to a guillotine choke, 35 seconds, first round, to fellow flyweight Jordan Rivera at Battles of the Borders 2. Can you walk us through what happened and your thoughts on the fight now that you've had some time to reflect on it?
Yeah, man. I mean, this was in Chicago. I'm away from my hometown. I'm away from my state and my area. You know, he's pretty much the home crowd favorite, and I knew, you know, coming into this fight, as I hear his corner say, you know, take him to the ground right away. Don't try to stand up with him. You know, keep your distance if you have to, but just get him on the ground. And I remember them saying that part, and then everything was a blank once the ref said let's go, and we went. And he took me down. He choked me out with the guillotine choke. I mean, nothing's taken away from him. I tip my cap to him. He did what he had to do, and you know, he got the victory. I mean, there's nothing that could be taken away from him from him on my side. I mean, he did what he did, man, and he got the victory. I mean, it sucks. It's a loss. I'll never get over it, but you know, it happens, man.
And then your second fight was in your home state of Wisconsin against Jonathan Morrison, and it was the debut event for Chosen Few Fighting Championships. That had been quite an honor to be selected to fight main card in your home state.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was such an exciting just crowd that showed up there. First of all, second of all, man, it's CFFC. I mean, it's gonna go someplace. You know, we're bringing MMA back to Madison, and you know, Madison's a big city. A lot of people there. A lot of people like to come and watch fights. Josh Sterry, the promoter, did his thing, man. He put on a great show and a great Monona Terrace. I mean, it's beautiful, right on the lake. I mean, put on some great talent on that card. And, you know, Morrison, you know, me and Morrison, we fought, and again, his corners told him to keep his distance and back off. I mean, he eventually, I mean, he had to eat some shots, but he got me to the ground, and you know, it was basically over from there, unfortunately.
And again, in that fight, grappling seemed to be the key. You were submitted by a rear naked choke in the first round. Are you getting a feeling that, you know, these guys don't want to end up in trade with you?
Both Jordan's corners and Morrison's corners told both their fighters, don't waste your time standing up with them. You're gonna get beat. And you know, me personally, I don't view myself that way. I mean, some people have their strong suits, and some people have their weak points. And I mean, I would be okay with them standing up and banging with me, but You know, again, it's not, it's MMA, and I know a lot of people actually in the promoting business and the coaching business who fight at or who coach at, you know, big time gyms here around the area. Is they came and see me box before. I recognize faces, and you know, nothing really can be said about a person who's undefeated in their boxing, is 3-0. You can't really say anything bad about them, you know.
Speaking of good gyms in the area, you're making the move now to Ford's Gym in Madison to train with world-renowned boxing coaches Bob Lynch and Eric Morrell. You train wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at home in Reedsburg under Jim D'Ambrosio at Jade Dragon Martial Arts Academy. Seems like quite the trek back and forth between the two. You know, you've got some good distance to travel. Can you walk us through a typical day of training for an up-and-coming growing fighter like yourself?
Basically, I live in Reedsburg, but outside of Reedsburg, and it's about a 40-minute drive to Madison. So, you know, it's long, yeah, but it could be worse. You know, and basically, I go to work every day from 6 in the morning until 2. Then that's Monday through Friday. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I have strength and conditioning, wrestling, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in those 3 days. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I have boxing and footwork and speed and agility on those 3 days. And Sunday is my day off to you know, basically replay everything in my head from what I learned in that week and refresh and get really get my head right again, and get ready for another hard week. And I mean, I don't take any days off, man, and I keep going, and I'd rather stay ready than get ready.
That's the way to do it. Just keep going and keeping yourself prepared. Fight can come at any time. Absolutely. And you were scheduled to compete at the second event for Chosen Few Fighting Championships, but your bout was canceled.
Yeah.
Was that due to a bicep injury? And what happened?
My last fight with Morrison, I caught him with a clean right jab, and he kind of stumbled backwards a little bit, and I went to follow up with a few combos. I missed with my left hand, and I kind of came around awkwardly for a hook awkwardly with my right bicep, and I kind of grazed him, but I overextended my arm somehow. I can't really remember how I did it. All I know is I did it, and I can replay the concept in my head. But when I did that, I felt like a really tight, kind of like a muscle cramp, if you will, in my right arm, and the rest plays out in the fight. I went to medical staff after. They went and checked me out. I told them I had some stiffness in my right arm, and they kind of massaged it and iced it for the rest of the night and into the weekend, and the pain just really wouldn't stop. So I went up to the hospital, got a few x-rays, and they looked at it, and they can see a few tears in my bicep, 2 of them. Surgery, they said surgery isn't required unless I hurt it again. And so they just said pretty much come in for rehab 3 times a week, rest it, don't go so hard, and I should be fine.
In your area, do you feel that there are enough promotions and a big enough talent pool to keep the competition?
Oh, absolutely,
going,
man. Talent's everywhere. You just gotta go find it. You know what I mean? And sometimes you find it, sometimes you don't. Some people are different, but you know, again, man, you just got to go find that talent. And there's hidden potential everywhere, everywhere you go. I mean, with every person you see, their talent could be different than yours, but everybody has some significant, talent that they don't really show on an everyday basis. And I feel in my area, CFFC, I pretty much solidified myself to compete on their shows and their card. Right now, I'm not under contract anymore with them, just because it was a two fight deal. One, I got hurt, but when the next show, I'll probably sign with them again. There's NAFC, North American Fighting Championship, in Milwaukee and in Chicago. I know Mike Camp, he runs those shows. I mean, he's a real great guy. I mean, so, there's a lot of promotions around this area, especially in Chicago and Milwaukee and Madison and King of the Cage up north by Green Bay. So, yeah, man, there's a lot of competition, and I still haven't reached the potential that I can reach and the level that I can be at. I mean, I'm training to be the best, and I will be the best. And I mean, nothing's gonna hold me back. I mean, whoever I gotta fight, let's do this. I'm gonna go through them, and I'm gonna be the best.
Good. That's great drive to have. And moving forward in your career, what are your goals within the sport of MMA?
My ultimate goal, man, is really
what promotion do you want to fight for?
Push myself to the next level every day. Get better. I mean, avenge my losses, obviously. Turn pro, have a real clean record. Go on a win streak, man. Go on a fight streak, and ultimately, hopefully, end up signing with the UFC someday. That's my ultimate goal. I love to fight. I love to throw hands. But that's inside the ring, and that's inside the training in the gym, and that's outside. I'm a calm, relaxed person, and I really comprehend things in my mind over and over and over until I get them down, and perfect them. And I really need to strive for perfection. I mean, I know I'm not perfect. I know I never will be, but I can get close. And if I do that, I think I can achieve my goal into being in the UFC one day. As far as who I want to fight and who I want to fight for, I mean, fighting for CFFC, I mean, I'm technically not under contract anymore, so I can really fight for whoever, and I can fight whoever. I'm ready to go. Whoever you got, give me your best, man, and I'm here to beat the best. I'm not here to beat any scrubs. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna win, man. I don't really have any preference. I don't really have anybody to call out, but well, I do have somebody to call out, but he'll get his opportunity. I'll get my opportunity to get my hands on him, but he knows who he is, and we'll see what Josh puts together for me. Josh Derry and CFFC puts together for me. If they can make it happen, we'll see. You'll know soon enough.
Okay, I won't probe into that one. We'll wait and see. But say you just had a fantasy fight. You could fight anyone in the world that you wanted to, regardless of weight class or any limitations.
Who would it be and why?
Who would it be and why?
I'm gonna have to go with my girl Ronda Rousey, man. I mean, she's rowdy. I mean, she really knows how to. I mean, behind all that beauty, there's a beast, and in all honesty, I feel like I can really learn a lot from her. If she beats me up, so be it. But I can learn a lot from her in all honesty, and hopefully holler at her down the road, maybe sometime in the future when I become in the UFC or something. But just kidding, Rhonda, if you ever listen to this. But nah, man, I would love to get in the ring with Ronda Rousey, man, and have her just show me a bunch of stuff that I can put into my pocket and save for later, and kind of work with it a little bit, and yeah, man. I mean, she's just something else, dude. I could go on and on for days about her. I mean, she's so beautiful, and I mean, me personally, I don't think she should fight. I mean, she should honestly be Maxim's, number one hottest girl. But I mean, she does what she does. She throws down, and she's beautiful too. So. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. She's, like I said, she's something else, man. Words can't describe her.
When can we expect to see you compete?
You can see me.
What
my bicep injury should be completely healed by beginning to middle of May or beginning of June, sometime within that time frame, depending on how I feel and depending, what limits I push with it. But right now I've been taking it easy, letting it heal up. Just getting bigger, faster, and stronger in the meantime, not pushing it to, strenuous limits, and not, really letting it not heal. I mean, I'm doing a little bit of both, really balancing it out between the two. But I should be ready to go within the May-June time frame, and I mean, I'll be down to throw down within July. I mean, there's not a whole lot of me getting ready. I mean, I stay ready, it's just a matter of sharpening my tools and keeping them sharp. I've been really focusing a lot on my wrestling and on the ground and pound, and a lot of mounts and guards and controls, and more than I have on my boxing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still sharpen my tools in boxing. I just need to focus more on my ground, as people can see how I got beat every single time, and people can see how I've achieved a victory every single time, and I need to change that, and I need to switch it up, and been, like I said, really focusing on my groundwork, and it's really made an improvement. Every day, my coach videotapes it, and we watch film and see this is where we can go now. And my sparring partners really keep me in check. They really know how to, really beat up on me on the ground, and I have to learn, and I'm getting so much better. I mean, there's a huge improvement. If I were to show you videos before and after, people would be like, wow. I mean, that's really huge. So you can see me to start developing being a well-rounded fighter. I'll be more exciting. I'll be more calm, and my attitude and my whole outlook on the sport and on my fights have changed. I mean, I was had a bad attitude, negative, and I'm always the best or whatever. I mean, that's all changed, man. I mean, there's so many people out there who are better than me and bigger and faster and stronger, and they're my goal. I have to beat them, and right now I'm not there, and so my attitude's changed, my demeanor has changed, and my whole outlook on the sport alone, and on people who compete in the sport alone as well, has changed. So, with those two things changing, I mean, there's a huge improvement. And I have to learn to settle my head and settle my nerves, and and clear my thoughts, and just do what my coaches put me through in training camp and use that in the cage. I can't forget about what I was taught. So that's the biggest thing that I'm working on, and it's came a long way so far.
I can't wait to see it, and I'd really like to thank you for your time there. Do you have any sponsors?
Yeah, man. First of all, I want to say thank you for having me.
Before we finish up,
thank you for taking the time and being here with me. Quick shout out to Your Fight for hooking me up with a sponsor, and sweet shirt, man. And people, don't forget to order those shirts. They're so cool, man. I mean, you have to see it to believe it. But shout out to Your Fight. I want to shout out to Ronda Rousey for being beautiful and being a beast at the same time. I mean, I can keep going on and on about you, but I'd rather not. Shout out to Brewster's Lanes in Reesburg for hooking me up with their last sponsorship for my fight for CFFC. I want to quick shout out to Touchdown Tavern, Radio Shack, and last but not least to Chris Beal for getting hooked up with the UFC. Hopefully my dude can pull out a victory at UFC 172. People, don't forget to watch Chris Beal throw down at UFC 172 in Baltimore, Maryland. And lastly, I want to thank my friends, my family, and my fans who appreciate what I do day in and day out. And yeah, man, that's really it.